Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to class 7. I am your teacher Miss Falak Nas. Okay. So students, today we are going to start the revision for the final term papers. So we are going to start from the chapter digestion. Means in this lecture we are going to review some important topics of chapter digestion. So let's start. Now look at here what topics that we are going to review today. First one is the reason why most food must be digested. So the first topic is the reason, okay? The reason why most food must be digested. Then enzymes and their role in digestion is our second topic to review. Then to describe how our digestive system helps in digestion of food. The last one is parts of alimentary canal. I'm going to tell you in different parts of alimentary canal, and detail of these parts will be in the next lecture. So let's start from the topic number 1, which is give reason. Okay, you have to provide reason why there is need for food to be digested. Means the food that we eat or the food that we take, why the process of digestion is necessary. What is the reason behind it? If you look at here, so these are the foods, or these are the food particles or food molecules that we usually eat. So basically why there is a need. So look at here, the food that we eat usually, okay, food that we eat usually consists of some small and mainly, some are small but most of them are large, insoluble and indiffusible molecules. Okay, the food that we eat are usually number one large. They are large enough to cross the partially permeable cell membrane. They are insoluble, means insoluble, they cannot be dissolved in water or into our bloodstream. Similarly, indiffusible. Indiffusible means they cannot cross the partially permeable cell membrane. Okay, the food that we usually eat is comprises of large molecules, insoluble molecules, and indiffusible molecules. And if you want to get energy, so it must be in your bloodstream. So if the food want to come into the bloodstream, so they must cross the partially permeable cell membrane. But since the food is too large, so that it cannot be crossed the partially permeable membrane, so that's why first we will digest our food, and then it will cross the partially permeable cell membrane and then get into our bloodstream, and then it will provide you energy. All of you know that we eat food for the to get the energy. Okay, so how will you get the energy when your food comes into the bloodstream? But it will not come into the bloodstream if you will not digest your food. Why? Because food is large, insoluble and indiffusible, so that's why they cannot cross the partially permeable cell membrane. So to cross the partially permeable cell membrane, your food must be broken down. It must be broken down into smaller, means from large molecules to small molecules, from insoluble molecules to soluble form, and from indiffusible form into diffusible ones, which can then absorb by the bloodstream into the cell. Means if you want to get the energy, so your food must be into the cell. But to cross the partially permeable cell membrane, it must be small enough. It should be in diffusible or soluble form. So to bring your food into soluble and diffusible form, you will digest the food. Okay, so what is the reason for the digestion of food? Since your food consists of some small and mainly some large insoluble and indiffusible molecules, so these molecules must be broken down into smaller, soluble and diffusible ones, which can then be absorbed by the bloodstream. Okay, it must be broken down. Why you digest your food? Because it must be broken down into the smaller form, so that it can get into our bloodstream and then it will provide energy to us. Okay, now next is What is digestion? Okay, in the previous slide you have learned that why digestion is necessary. Okay, continuously we were talking about digestion, but what is digestion? What is digestion? Basically it is a process. Okay, what is it? It is the chemical process. Okay, it is a chemical breakdown. Okay, digest term here is digest means break, to break something. Okay, means to break something. So it's the chemical breakdown of large insoluble and indiffusible food molecules into smaller soluble and diffusible ones with the help of enzymes. Most important thing, with the help of enzymes. Now listen to me. Basically the food that we eat, just suppose take the example of carbohydrates here. Let's take an example of carbohydrate. Basically this carbohydrate consists of a long chain of food molecules. These are long chain. Just suppose this is your partially permeable cell membrane. Just suppose, just a minute. Just give me a minute. Now look at here. Just suppose this is your partially permeable cell membrane and it has very small pores inside it. So this large molecule of carbohydrate, or you can say the starch molecule, it cannot cross your cell membrane because it is large enough to not to cross the cell membrane. Similarly indiffusible form hai and indissoluble form as well. So if you want to cross it through the cell membrane, what you will do, you will break it down into the smaller form. Okay, you will break it down into the smaller form so that it can get into our bloodstream. So the process which involve, okay, the process which involve the breakdown of large insoluble and indiffusible food molecules into soluble, small and diffusible food molecules with the help of enzyme. This process is called as digestion. This whole process, okay, breaking down of large molecules into smaller food molecules, this process is called as digestion. And why digestion is necessary? Because large food molecules cannot get into our bloodstream. If they will not get into our bloodstream, so we will not get any energy. Okay, so to get energy, food must be into our bloodstream. So before coming into the bloodstream, your food must be digested. And the process which help in the digestion of food, the process is called digestion. Okay, so it is the breakdown, chemical breakdown. Okay, now what does it mean by chemical? Different chemicals are involved. Just suppose here we talk about enzymes. Different enzymes are involved in the process of digestion. Now let's check it out. What are enzymes? What are enzymes? Enzymes are basically special proteins. Okay, what they are basically special type of proteins that are produced by our own body, which bring about, okay, or speed up certain chemical reactions in our body. Means in our body different types of enzymes are present, and you know different types of chemical reactions are continuously going on in our body. So to speed up, okay, to speed up that chemical reaction, enzymes are present. Okay, enzymes are basically different types of proteins which just increase the speed of different enzymes in our body, different chemical reactions in our body. Okay, they are specific in nature. What does it mean by they are specific in nature? They are specific in nature means for digestion you have digestive enzyme. For circulation of blood you will require some different types of enzyme. Means for each and every chemical reaction, different types of enzymes are present in our body and they will perform only their specific function. Means digestive enzymes will only help in the process of digestion, not in any other process. Okay, so Look at here, enzymes and the digestive system. So what are digestive enzymes? They basically work outside of your cells. They are produced by glands, and they basically catalyzes the reaction large insoluble molecules into smaller soluble molecules. As you can see, this is a starch molecule. So what protein is required, or what enzyme is involving here? That is amylase. Okay, what it will do, it will speed up the reaction, and it will help the starch molecule to break it down into smaller form, which is the glucose. Okay, and then it will be absorbed into the bloodstream. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Digestion of food in human being. What does it mean by digestion? Okay, what is digestion? Chemical breakdown of large, insoluble, and indiffusible food molecules into smaller, soluble, and diffusible ones. That process is called as digestion. And why it is necessary? Because digested food can cross our bloodstream, or you simply say that it can cross the partially permeable cell membrane, so that we can get the energy from our food. Okay, now look at here. If we talk about the digestion of food in human being, so it can be divided into two types. Okay, there are two types of digestion in human being. Now, what is one? Number one is chemical digestion, and number two is mechanical digestion. Now, what is chemical and what is mechanical digestion? Now, look at here. This is the food that we usually eat. Not this one, but a large molecule, insoluble molecule, indiffusible molecules. And what we have to do, we have to break it down into smaller food molecules. Now, how will we break it down into smaller molecules? It will involve two process or two types. Number one is the physical or mechanical digestion, and second one is the chemical digestion. In physical and mechanical digestion, we will only break down our food without the help of any enzymes. Okay, without the help of any enzymes, any chemicals. And in chemical digestions, usually digestive enzymes are involved, and this digestive enzyme help us to break down large carbohydrate molecules into smaller ones. I'm repeating this thing again and again, why we are going to break down this long chain of carbohydrates. Why? Because it cannot cross our partially permeable cell membrane. Okay, and if it cannot cross the partially permeable cell membrane, so food cannot enter into our bloodstream. And if food will not enter into our bloodstream, so we cannot get any energy from our food. So if you want to get energy from the food, your food must be broken down into smaller pieces. So this involves mainly two different types: physical mechanical digestion, or simply second one is chemical digestion. Okay, now let's check it out. What are these types of digestion? First, if we talk about the chemical digestion, so what is chemical digestion? For chemical digestion, chemicals, as the name indicates, chemicals and enzymes. You know what are enzymes? Special type of, it is just a special type of proteins. Okay, chemicals and enzymes take part, which are termed as digestive enzymes. That's it. What is chemical digestion? In this, different types of chemicals and digestive enzymes will take part to break down your large, insoluble, indivisible food molecules into smaller, soluble, and diffusible ones. Okay? Now look at here. What are the digestive enzymes? Just suppose the food that we eat is usually comprises of starch, proteins, lipids. Okay, so if you want to break down that starch into smaller form, just suppose the smaller form of starch is maltose. So which enzyme will help you in this process? Amylase. Okay, if you want to break down starch into maltose, which is the soluble form of starch molecules. So amylase is the enzyme. Amylase is the enzyme that help you in this process. Okay, amylase is the enzyme. So this will be called chemical digestion. If we want to break down proteins into simpler form, the simpler form of protein is amino acids. Okay, amino acids or amino acids, both can be used. So, if you want to break down proteins into amino acids, so the enzyme that is involved is called protease. Okay, protease. Okay, so it will break down proteins into amino acids. The last one is lipids, or simply you can say fats. So, lipids and fats can be broken down into smaller form, which is fatty acids and glycerol, by the help of enzyme lipase. Okay, so these are the different enzymes that help in the breakdown of starch, proteins, and lipids into its smaller and soluble form. Now, as you can see, these are the large forms and these are the smaller form. So these smaller form can easily get into our bloodstream by crossing the partially permeable cell membrane, and then in the cell, by the process of respiration, it we will get the energy. Okay. Now, next is mechanical digestion. Okay, as you can see from the sixth picture, it basically involves the chewing process. How? Our teeth work like machine. Okay, our teeth, these are our teeth, strong teeth. Okay, these are basically work like machine to cut and grind the food particles. Okay, it usually work like a machine that can cut and grind different parts of food particles. So this type of digestion is called mechanical digestion, and no enzymes are involved in it. Okay, we have different types of teeth set in our mouth. Some are helpful. Okay, different types of sets are present. Different types of sets of teeth are present in our mouth. Some of them are helpful for cutting. Some of them are helpful to tear the food, and some help in the grinding of food. Okay, some will be helpful for cutting, some for tearing of the food, and some for grinding the food. But the most important thing, no enzyme and no chemical is included. Okay, just suppose this one is the large food molecule and it will break it down into smaller form, not the soluble and diffusible form. Just it will break down your large pieces of food into smaller pieces, not into soluble and diffusible form, by the action of teeth. Okay, different types of teeth. Some are helpful for grinding, some are helpful for cutting, and some will help you to tear your food. Okay, so this type of digestion is called mechanical digestion. Clear? Is it clear? I hope it is clear. Cutting and grinding is part of mechanical digestion. Okay, cutting of food and grinding of food is a part of mechanical digestion. I'm repeating again and again. By the action of teeth, our food is not going to convert it into soluble and diffusible form. What it will do, what our teeth will do, it will just break down large pieces of food into smaller pieces, or it will help you in the cutting and grinding of food molecules. Okay, and this is called mechanical digestion. No involvement of enzymes and any other chemicals. Okay, only by the action of teeth, right? Okay, next is this one. Okay, now what is this? Basically, it looks like something, a tube. Like, just suppose, as you can see here, this is a tube, right? Tube like structure starting from here, and then it is moving. At some points it is in expanded form, then here it is in twisted form. So what is this? What this tube is called? Basically, this tube is called the alimentary canal. Okay, this tube is called the alimentary canal, and it is the main organ and main part of the human digestive system. Okay, that start from the mouth and end towards anus. Okay, Now, basically, what happens? The food that we eat enters our body through the mouth. Okay, obviously, we always take the food from the mouth, and then the undigested food, and then it will go through your body. Just suppose this is a tube, or you can say it's an alimentary canal, and at the end, all the undigested food will leave our body through the anus in the form of feces. Okay, now if we talk about food, how it will travel and where it will travel. So basically, food travels through our body along the alimentary canal. Okay, food travels in our body along the alimentary canal, which is a continuous tube, as you can see, which is a continuous tube. Why? Because it starts from the mouth, it begins from the mouth and end towards the anus. Okay, as you can see here, it start from your mouth. This is the tube. It start from the mouth and then it will end towards the anus. Okay, basically this tube is wide in some parts, as you can see here, it is in wide form, and narrow in others part. Just suppose here it is in narrow form, here it is in narrow form, here the wide form. Okay. Okay, if we talk about more about alimentary canal, so it bends back on itself in some places, but is basically just a single tube running right through our body. So what is an alimentary canal? It is a continuous tube. Okay, what is an alimentary canal? It is a continuous tube that runs through our body, and food travels through our continuous through this continuous tube. Okay, that continuous tube is called alimentary canal. Okay, if the human alimentary canal is removed, if you will remove this alimentary canal from your body and unravel, it would be a continuous tube of about 7 meter in length. Okay, if you will remove it, if you will remove it from your body and just measure the length of this human alimentary canal, so it is around 7 meter long. 7 meter, it is too much. I can tell you, like the approximate height of the human being is, if you talk about in meters. Okay, the height in meters, so the approximate height of human beings, or you can say the average height of human beings in meter, is around 1.5 till 1.8 meters. Okay, 1.5 till 1.8 meters, but not more than that. So now if we talk about our height, the average height, it must be around 1.6, 1.7 meters. I'm repeating again, I'm talking about meters. Okay, height in meters, not in feet. So look at here, like how interesting is this one. Just suppose if a human being that has a height of around 1.7 meters, that is around 5 feet 10 inches, no, not 10 inches, 5 feet 5 inches. So, and it can, and we have the human alimentary canal, which is around 7 meter long, so it's a huge difference. But it is inside our body, because at some places it is in folded forms or bending forms. That's why it can easily fit into our body, right? So first part of the this alimentary canal is mouth. Okay, as you know, food enters into our body through the mouth. Then next part is pharynx. Next one is esophagus. These are all the parts of human alimentary canal. Then stomach, the most famous one, where most of the digestion occur. Then small intestine, large intestine, and anus. Okay, so these are some important parts of human alimentary canal. Okay, and human alimentary canal is the part of our body where digestion occurs. Okay, so this is called a digestive organ. Okay, why digestive organ? Because it helps in the process of digestion. Okay, now look at this one. What is this? This is basically esophagus. Okay, a closer look of esophagus. This is your esophagus, where your food is present, and this is your stomach. if I'm going to see you the inside picture of a stomach, so here it is the inside picture of a stomach. So basically what happens, food will enter into our mouth and then it will passes through the esophagus, okay, the narrow tube, and here you have a muscular bag, and the inside view of muscular bag is just like this one. Means then food will come into our stomach, where most of the, not all, most of the digestion will occur in stomach, and after digestion it will come into the narrow tube, and this is the narrow tube which is called small intestine and large intestine. Okay. uh, in the next class I'm going to tell you how this digestion occurs in different parts of different organs of the body. Okay, so in this lecture what we have learned about the reason behind the digestion of food, then the process of digestion, different types of digestion, and then we look into some important parts of digestive organs. Okay, digestion, right? So this is the end of the lecture. If you want to ask anything, so you can write it down in the comment section. And at the end, I would like to say thank you. Hope you have understand this lecture very well. In the next class, I'm going to tell you about different parts of alimentary canals in detail. Okay. So till then, Allah Hafiz. Take care.